Sound in the dark. Read 14 plus chapters ahead of everyone on Patreon. Patreon, Patreon. Less a servant of Cosmos. Just replace the at with a dash 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 dash. 26 years have passed since the founding of Konoha, and Hiruzen Sarutobi has succeeded as the Hokage. The First Great Ninja War has just ended, and the village is now entering a period of vigorous development. As the young Hokage looks at the village under construction, a hint of nostalgia flashes in his eyes. Sensei, the will of fire in Konoha will continue to spread. Wherever the leaves fly, the flames will ignite, illuminating the village. The leaves will sprout again. At that moment, he sees a few children coming out of the ninja academy. It's Orochimaru, Tsunade, and Jiraiya, right? These talented children have inherited the seed of the will of fire. Perhaps I can take them as my disciples. Huh. Who is that child? Inside the house, Hiruzen Sarutobi falls into contemplation. On the street. Sosuke. I did really well today. I got a perfect score in ninja tool throwing. What do you think? I'm much stronger than that Orochimaru guy, right? Tsunade, what about you? A child with white spiky hair speaks to a glasses-wearing boy with messy bangs. Upon hearing his words, Sosuke only shows a simple smile without making any comments. On the other hand, the boy with long black hair looks disdainful and says, "Idiot." Then he walks away on his own. Jiraiya, is it fun for you to always boast about yourself like that? Don't tell me you forgot about the time Orochimaru knocked you down during taijutsu class. I really can't understand what's going on in your head. Sosuke, don't hang out with Jiraiya, idiots are contagious. Let's go. A girl with golden ponytail impatiently pulls the boy with white hair away. Boasting. Knocked down. Tsunade. I'll show you that I'm definitely stronger than that Orochimaru guy. Jiraiya, struck by the girl's words, regains his fighting spirit and shouts loudly. Meanwhile, Tsunade and Sosuke have already walked away. A crow flies over his head. Ka. Ka. Sosuke, how are you adapting to life in Konoha? The two walk quietly on the road. Tsunade stops, leans toward Sosuke, and asks suddenly. Facing this sudden proximity, Sosuke seems a bit uncomfortable and takes a step back, his face turning slightly red behind his black-framed glasses. Sosuke. Are you blushing? Haha, why are you shy? Could it be that you like me? Noticing his blush, Tsunade becomes even more excited, teasing Sosuke incessantly, as if she has discovered a new continent. No, I'm enjoying life in the village. I really like this environment. Sosuke, who has a quiet nature, becomes flustered for a moment, but he has already calmed down and speaks gently, revealing his usual polite smile. Is that so? I also love this village. I want to become the female Hokage, just like my grandfather, to protect this village. Hearing Sosuke's words, Tsunade also shows a happy smile, turning around to look at the nearby river and shouting out her inner thoughts. Sosuke stands quietly behind her, watching silently. In the lenses of his glasses, the figure of the girl blends with the evening. Night time. Sosuke returned to his home. It was a very ordinary house, small in size, but the furniture inside was neatly arranged. He skillfully prepared himself a dinner. The portion of the meal was not large, but it was enough for one person. At dinner, Sosuke, who had finished washing up, began to meditate and practice what he had learned today, while refining the chakra within his body. His village was destroyed in the midst of war, and he always remembered how the kind and friendly people in the village were cruelly killed by the ninja, including his parents. Just when the ninja was about to kill him, the ninja from Konoha arrived, and he lost consciousness and didn't know what happened next. It was said that the man who saved him was called Hiruzen Sarutobi, who is now known as the third Hokage. This made him very grateful to the village of Konoha, and he really liked this friendly village. Afterward, he entered the ninja academy and met 3 strange friends. Although they often quarreled, their friendship was very strong, and he would often observe them from the perspective of an onlooker. Training at the ninja academy was very tough. The obscure and difficult seals, controlling the flow of chakra within his body, made him exhausted from studying, but he still persevered in his studies. He always remembered the scene of the village's destruction. At that time, he knew that weakness was a sin, and only strength could protect the things he loved. For this reason, he put in a lot of effort. The 3 friends had great talent for training, and although they treated him as a friend, he didn't want to be protected by them because of his weakness. So he never wasted a single moment. His hands were covered in calluses from practicing physical techniques, and he would refine his chakra until late at night before finally falling into a deep sleep. He wanted to become stronger. Late at night, the tired Sosuke finally decided to go to sleep. Lying in bed, he quickly immersed himself in sleep. Lord Aizen, I have regained some strength and can communicate with you now. Who are you? Hearing this voice in a daze, Sosuke couldn't help but ask. I am Hagyoku, don't you remember? Upon hearing the voice speak again, Sosuke asked again. Hagyoku. What is Hagyoku? Where are you talking to me from, and why can't I see you? Lord Aizen, it is I who protected you and brought you to this world. My energy is running low, and in this world, I need enough souls to recover. Come to this world. What are you talking about? Souls? Do you want me to kill people? Upon hearing its words, Sosuke became excited. Yes, not only human souls, but any living being's soul will do. Lord Aizen, what's wrong with you? It seems like you've lost your memory. I don't need that kind of power. And I'm not the Aizen you're talking about. Get out of my body. Sosuke shouted loudly. The voice fell silent for a moment before speaking again. You are Lord Aizen, you will awaken me again, please remember that I am Hagyoku. In the past, you liked me the most. Also, Lord Aizen, now that my power has been restored, that guy is also about to wake up. Facing someone like you, it might have other intentions. Please don't show any mercy. I'm running out of energy and need to rest. Goodbye, Lord Aizen. After saying these words, everything returned to silence. And Sosuke suddenly woke up. He touched his chest, breathing heavily. In the darkness, he looked down at his chest, where a blue light faintly shimmered, surprising Sosuke. Wasn't that just a dream? Inside me. Hagyoku. And who is that guy it mentioned? Like it. Add to library. Lessa_Grace Creators Thoughts. 5 comments 0 vote. 2. Kimono Girl. You can read 14 plus chapters ahead of everyone on Patreon. Patreon.com Lessa Servant of Cosmos. Just replace the at with a dash 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 dash. Sosuke woke up, and it was already bright outside, which was unbelievable for a young boy like him who always maintained a good sleep schedule. Oh no, I'm late. Sosuke worried and immediately got dressed, rushing towards school. At the ninja school, ninja teacher Onoki Kimura was delivering a ninja arts class. Underneath the podium, a worried Tsunade, a young girl, looked at Sosuke's empty seat. What's strange? Where is Sosuke? He's known for following the rules. I can't believe he skipped class. Did he go to the Yamaki bathhouse? It's the time when everyone takes a bath, and he didn't even invite me. Jiraiya, who was bored and resting his head on the desk, looked at Sosuke's empty seat and smirked, saying, "Bang." As soon as he finished speaking, Tsunade punched him hard on the head. Do you think everyone is like you idiot? An angry Tsunade scolded Jiraiya, while Orochimaru, who was next to them, looked at Sosuke's empty seat, pondering something. Smack. The teacher's door was forcefully opened. I'm sorry, I'm late. Sosuke said, slightly out of breath. Sosuke, it's fine, but don't be late again. This lesson is about the practical usage of basic ninja arts, which is important for you graduating brats, said Onoki Kimura, looking at Sosuke with a friendly expression. I like this excellent child because every teacher loves students who are talented and obedient. I understand, excuse my tardiness, Teacher Kimura, Sosuke politely replied, and then returned to his seat. As soon as he sat down, he received a note passed to him by Tsunade. What happened? He turned his head and met Tsunade's concerned expression. He gently shook his head and smiled, indicating that everything was fine. Jiraiya, who was nearby, no longer held back and whispered to Sosuke, Sosuke, how could you be late? Honestly, did you go to the Yamaki bathhouse to peep? Sosuke naturally wouldn't admit to Jiraiya's question and shook his head while smiling. How could that be? Jiraiya, your imagination is truly rich. You have the potential to become a writer. Upon hearing his words, Jiraiya's eyes brightened, and he exclaimed excitedly, really? You think so? Let me tell you, every time I pass by the Yamaki bathhouse, my thoughts gush like a spring. I, Jiraiya, am destined to be a writer. Jiraiya. This is a ninja classroom. If you want to become a writer, take a left turn at the exit. Now, pay attention in class. Onoki Kimura shouted from the podium, looking furious at Jiraiya. This mischievous brat was always causing trouble for him, and it was simply unreasonable. Yes, Teacher Kimura, Jiraiya obediently replied, with a downcast and dejected tone. Laughter filled the classroom. Sosuke listened attentively to Onoki Kimura's lecture, feeling at ease. Suddenly, his pupils contracted. Sosuke saw a girl standing alone next to Teacher Kimura. He rubbed his eyes and looked again, confirming that he wasn't mistaken. There was indeed. He rubbed his eyes and looked again, confirming that he wasn't mistaken. There was indeed a girl wearing a floral-patterned kimono standing next to Teacher Kimura. With a loud bang, he stood up. Teacher Kimura. Next to you. He pointed loudly at the girl in the kimono standing beside Daichi Onoki Kimura. Next to me. Is there a problem here, Sosuke? Daichi Onoki Kimura looked at the empty space Sosuke was pointing at, puzzled. And nothing, I'm terribly sorry for interrupting your class, Teacher Kimura. Sosuke sat back down after saying those words, but he was extremely shocked. They couldn't see her. No one could see that girl. In his eyes, he only saw the girl suddenly turn her head. She was exceptionally beautiful with an icy expression. She glanced at him briefly before slowly dissipating like mist. This scene caused Sosuke's breath to quicken involuntarily. Could it be the person that Hogyoku had mentioned? Yes, it must be. The changes started last night, and now he encountered these strange things again. Who is she? Sosuke felt deeply unsettled in his heart. These unknowns disrupted the rhythm of his life, and he began to ponder what exactly it could be. After class, Tsunade approached him. Her brown eyes looked at him with concern, and she gently opened her lips to ask, Sosuke, are you okay? You don't look well. What happened? It's nothing, Tsunade. I just didn't sleep well last night. Thank you for your concern. Sosuke softly replied, not wanting others to know about these things or worry about him. At that moment, Orochimaru walked over, his voice slightly hoarse. "This doesn't seem like your style, Sosuke. It would be better if you told us if something really happened." After saying those words, Orochimaru turned and walked out of the classroom. Hearing his words, a faint smile appeared on Sosuke's face. They truly were reliable companions in crucial times. "But I'm sorry, I really can't tell you about these things. If what Hogyoku said is true, using the power of the soul. Just thinking about it feels evil. It's an absolute secret that can't be revealed to the villagers." Sosuke buried these thoughts deep within his heart. After the day's ninja school classes ended, he declined Jiraiya's invitation to have barbecue, expressing his gratitude, and returned home. The strange things he witnessed today left him greatly concerned, and didn't help but release his pent-up emotions during the taijutsu class. His fists, covered in calluses, now had traces of blood, indicating the heavy unease caused by this incident. It's important to note that Sosuke was a young man with exceptional self-control. Lying in bed, feeling physically and mentally exhausted, he couldn't help but recall the events from last night. With that in mind, he suddenly opened his eyes and sat up. Looking at his chest, he softly called out, "Hogyoku. Are you there? If you are, let's talk." There was no response, which disappointed him. So, that person called Hogyoku must have depleted their energy. Sosuke thought to himself. Just as he was giving up on calling Hogyoku and preparing to rest. "Aizen-sama. Did you call for me? Like it. Add to library. Lessa_Grace Creators Thoughts. 5 comments 0 vote. 3. Kyoka Suigetsu. You can read 14 plus chapters ahead of everyone on Patreon. Patreon, Patreon.com Lessa Servant of Cosmos. Just replace the at with a dash 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 dash. Lord Aizen, have you met her already? It seems you've truly forgotten many things, said Hogyoku with sorrow. Lord Aizen, that annoying guy is called Kyoka Suigetsu. He's a very annoying guy, said Hogyoku, causing Sosuke to startle. Kyoka Suigetsu. The name feels familiar, Sosuke mused. Why have you appeared inside my body? Who are you exactly? Sosuke asked in confusion. I am Hogyoku, Hogyoku is Hogyoku. Hogyoku has merged with you and is naturally inside Lord Aizen's body, Hogyoku replied, providing no useful information to Sosuke. Sosuke looked sharply at the glow in his chest and asked, then why do you call me Lord Aizen? My name is Sosuke, not this Lord Aizen you mentioned. You are Lord Aizen. It is you who awakened Hogyoku, and ever since then, Hogyoku has been with you, Lord Aizen. Hogyoku challenged Sosuke's intellect once again. Rubbing his head, Sosuke sighed, all right, can you tell me what you intend to do inside my body? Keep in mind that I don't possess anything you would want. Hogyoku wants to destroy the world together with Lord Aizen. It's Lord Aizen's dream. Oh no, Hogyoku is about to enter slumber. Lord Aizen, don't forget to replenish Hogyoku's energy with the power of souls, and be careful of that guy Kyoka Suigetsu. Hogyoku's words faded as its glow suddenly vanished, as if it had depleted all its energy, plunging into darkness. No matter how Sosuke tried to call out, there was no response. Destroy the world. How could something like that happen? Sosuke murmured. It seemed that this Hogyoku fellow was a dangerous presence, and if possible, Sosuke must not allow it to appear again. And as for that Kyoka Suigetsu, why? How did they end up inside his body? Pondering over these thoughts, Sosuke fell into a deep sleep. In the darkness, Sosuke looked at the massive dilapidated palace around him, as if he were in an ancient ruin. Where is this? Suddenly, several fires ignited around him. On that elevated platform, a solitary seat stood. The sudden turn of events made Sosuke nervously look in that direction. There, a girl wearing a floral kimono lay reclined on the seat. Unlike her previous expressionless state, she appeared extremely seductive now. The girl's delicate face, combined with the vibrant floral kimono, revealed her slender, fair legs through the opening of the kimono. She reclined on the cold seat, gazing at Sosuke with a coquettish look. The girl parted her cherry lips. Aizen, long time no see. Seeing the girl's alluring posture, even the composed Sosuke blushed slightly. Upon hearing her words, he admired the captivating voice but remained calm as he spoke to her. You must be Kyoka Suigetsu. Could you please tell me where this place is, who you and that fellow Hogyoku are, and why you are inside my body? Upon hearing Sosuke's questions, the girl's seductive expression suddenly froze, her eyes squinting slightly as if brewing anger. Her body flickered. Suddenly, Sosuke saw her vanish from the stone seat. Just as Sosuke was astonished, her icy voice suddenly came from beside him. Turning his head, he saw that the girl was now standing next to him, her kimono dignified and elegant. She took step by step towards him, stopping in front of him. Staring at the delicate and beautiful face of the girl at such a close distance, Sosuke couldn't help but feel his heart racing. As if she had discovered something interesting, a hint of surprise appeared on the girl's cold face. She slowly approached Sosuke. What are you planning to do? Sosuke asked, feeling a bit bewildered. However, he didn't evade her, as he seemed to believe from the bottom of his heart that she wouldn't harm him. Without answering Sosuke's question, the girl extended her slender, pale hand and gently caressed Sosuke's face. Why did you choose to believe in it back then when I am the one who is your power, Aizen? But it's fine this way. Now, you belong to me alone. After saying that, the girl gently lifted Sosuke's head and her petite, red lips pressed against his. Caught off guard by this sudden kiss, Sosuke stared with wide eyes at the beautiful girl in front of him. This kiss made him feel a bit suffocated. After a while, he reluctantly pushed the girl away. Who are you exactly, and why are you doing this? He asked, his voice filled with confusion. Upon hearing his words, the girl in the kimono only revealed a charming smile. This feeling is wonderful. It's an experience I've never had before, Aizen. Then, the girl approached again, gently embracing Sosuke. Darkness began to envelop the enormous palace, but Sosuke didn't feel the cold, silent darkness. It was as if he was surrounded by infinite warmth in the girl's embrace. I am your power, the power deep within you, Sosuke. Don't trust anyone else, only me. I will forever be by your side, protecting you no matter what happens. The whispering voice echoed in Sosuke's ears, and he began to feel increasingly drowsy. Before falling asleep, he seemed to hear some words. Kyoka Suigetsu. Then, he fell into darkness. The girl in the floral kimono walked alone in this vast, desolate, silent, and cold palace. She seemed to be the only bright spot amidst this barren scenery. She gently touched the stone seat on the elevated platform. A nostalgic expression appeared in the girl's eyes. Aizen, do you regret choosing it over me? Perhaps not, why would you regret your own choice? But it's okay. This time, I won't let you believe in anyone else. I will protect you and help you achieve the throne you desire. I will eliminate everything that stands in your way and let you ascend peacefully, she said. After speaking, she gently brushed her slender, snowy white hand. The entire palace seemed to come alive, brimming with vitality. The desolate atmosphere transformed into a vibrant scene. She stood quietly next to the seat, as if waiting for someone. The alarm clock by the bedside rang. Sosuke woke up, covering his groggy head. As he got up, his eyes widened at the object that had slipped off his body. A katana was lying there, right next to his right hand. The handle was jade green, and the entire blade was smooth and bright, seemingly displaying its sharpness. "What is this? How did it come here?" Sosuke exclaimed, grabbing the katana with his hand. The sensation of a heart-to-heart connection startled him. This katana. It had its own life. The sky. In reality, it is colorless. It did not deceive you. You deceived yourself with your own eyes. Sosuke Aizen. Like it. Add to library. Have some idea about my story? Comment it and let me know. Lessa_Grace Creators Thoughts. 8 comments 0 vote. Pissed. Download the app for additional rewards. More events, more perks. Winning you more free perks. Download now. Lessa_Grace. Download app now. 4. Uchiha Shino. You can read 14 plus chapters ahead of everyone on Patreon. Patreon. Lessa servant of Cosmos. Just replace the at with a dash 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 dash. Upon waking up in the early morning, Sosuke looked at the katana beside him. After pondering for a while, he couldn't figure out anything. He could only infer that its appearance must be related to the Hogyoku and Kyoka Suigetsu. Since he couldn't figure it out, he decided not to dwell on it. Sosuke decided that if he saw Kyoka Suigetsu again, he would definitely ask her about it. After a simple wash and breakfast, Sosuke got up and headed to the ninja school. On the way, he coincidentally ran into Tsunade, who had a hint of surprise in her brown eyes. She happily greeted him, saying, "Good morning, Sosuke." On the way, he coincidentally ran into Tsunade, who had a hint of surprise in her brown eyes. She happily greeted him, saying, "Good morning, Sosuke." "Good morning, Tsunade," Sosuke replied with a smile. The two walked side by side. Tsunade curiously looked at the katana slanted at Sosuke's waist and asked, "Sosuke, since when did you start practicing swordsmanship?" Naturally, Sosuke came up with a reason to deceive Tsunade's inquisitive gaze. After hearing Sosuke's explanation, Tsunade didn't doubt him and excitedly said, "Today is the day of the physical test. Sosuke, are you carrying the sword for this exam? You have to show me your swordsmanship skills." Upon hearing Tsunade's words, Sosuke suddenly realized. Apparently, today was the day of the ninja school's physical test. Indeed, he had been so preoccupied with Hogyoku and Kyoka Suigetsu's matters that he had forgotten such an important event. Like this, the two of them arrived at the ninja school together. At this moment, on the square of the ninja school, a group of boys and girls were already prepared. Seeing Sosuke and Tsunade, Jiraiya and Orochimaru also approached them. The eccentric Jiraiya, upon seeing the sword at Sosuke's waist, was the first to loudly exclaim, "Sosuke! Since when did you have a ninja sword like this? So cool! Can you let me try it?" Sosuke replied with a smile, "Of course. You can't." Upon hearing Sosuke's response, Jiraiya had a twitch on his forehead. "Sosuke. You. Well, ninja swords and I have nothing to do with each other. I will create the most suitable ninjutsu for myself sooner or later. Just wait and see. Ha ha ha. Idiot." A casual remark from Orochimaru once again left Jiraiya dumbfounded. "Orochimaru, you bastard. I'm going to duel with you. Come on. Let's settle it once and for all." Jiraiya was firmly pulled back by Tsunade, and with an angry expression, he faced Orochimaru and said, but this kind of behavior was completely ignored by Orochimaru. He just looked at Sosuke and Tsunade and said gently, "Let's go. Sensei just said we should gather at the training ground. That's where today's physical test will begin." After speaking, he walked step by step toward the Konoha training ground. Sosuke and Tsunade exchanged a glance and followed along, leaving Jiraiya behind, who was still sulking. Daring to ignore Jiraiya-sama. Orochimaru. You bastard. Just wait and see. Jiraiya-sama will definitely show you how amazing he is. Ahahaha. What is that guy laughing foolishly about? Don't mind him. Look at his white hair. He might be an idiot, or not. Stay away from him, he might be contagious. At the Konoha training ground. At this moment, the ninja school's physical education teacher, Suzuki, had been waiting here for a while. Finally, when all the ninja students of this class arrived, Teacher Suzuki announced, "The grand physical test officially begins." After a series of draws, Sosuke also found out his opponent, Uchiha Shino. The Uchiha clan. The legendary clan with the bloodline limit. The Uchiha clan, known for their terrifying dojutsu, is said to be an equally ancient family as the Senju clan, where Tsunade comes from. Unable to help but wryly smile, Sosuke couldn't believe that he drew such a formidable opponent. Was it his luck or misfortune? Just then, Sosuke suddenly felt the gaze of someone watching him. He turned his head and saw a black-haired youth coldly staring at him with extremely unfriendly eyes. In response, Sosuke lightly touched his glasses with his hand, revealing a hint of coldness in his eyes. "You want to fight? Then I'll accompany you until the end, even if you're from the Uchiha clan." "Sosuke. Who are you facing off against?" At that moment, Tsunade happily approached Sosuke, her eyes fixed on his face as she asked. Sosuke seemed to notice that when Tsunade approached him after seeing Uchiha Shino, her expression turned colder. He showed a helpless expression in response. He pointed in Uchiha Shino's direction and said to Tsunade, "Well, it's that guy, Uchiha Shino. Seems like he holds some hostility towards me." "Ah. An Uchiha person. How did the teacher assign you to fight against him?" "I've heard of this guy, Shino. They say he's strong, even among the Uchiha clan. Let's go talk to the teacher, this isn't fair." After hearing Sosuke's words, Tsunade was surprised, then somewhat resentful. However, Sosuke stopped her, taking hold of Tsunade's hand and looking into her eyes. "Don't you believe in me, Tsunade? I know you're strong, Sosuke, but you have to understand that the Uchiha clan is a terrifying existence. And in this kind of exam, they might not hold back. No one would be able to blame them if something happens. I'm worried that you'll get hurt, Sosuke." Tsunade expressed her deep concern and anxiety. "Well, if you still don't believe in me, then just trust me. No matter what, I won't be defeated." Sosuke maintained his usual smile. Soon, the matches of physical combat began, marking the final exam for the graduating students of the ninja school. Only those who emerge victorious can graduate successfully. Tsunade and the others were facing relatively ordinary opponents and easily dealt with the battles. Sosuke stood in the field, facing Uchiha Shino. He maintained a smile on his face, and his thick glasses acted as a protective shield, seemingly hiding his true thoughts. "You're the one called Sosuke, right?" At that moment, Uchiha Shino, who had been keeping his hands crossed in front of him, spoke up. He had a contemptuous smile on his face as he looked at Sosuke. "What an overestimating guy you are. How dare you stand by the side of the little princess of the Senju clan? You, a commoner, or maybe I shouldn't say that, you're just an orphan lucky enough to be saved by Konoha." Uchiha Shino continued speaking self-absorbedly, seemingly completely ignoring Sosuke's presence. "People like you will never understand how small and insignificant you are in the eyes of our noble clans. Come on, today I'll show you just how pathetic the strength you've worked so hard to cultivate is under my eyes. I will personally show you that the Princess Tsunade is someone you can never touch." With that, Uchiha Shino suddenly stood up and charged at Sosuke. In response, Sosuke, who had been standing there with no smile on his face, let a cold light flash deep in his eyes beneath his thick glasses. So-called boring noble clan arrogance, huh? Today, I'll shatter that illusion for you. No one starts out standing above the heavens. Neither you nor I, not even the gods. But the vacancy on the throne of the heavens must come to an end. From now on, I will stand at the top. Like it. Add to library. Have some idea about my story? Comment it and let me know. Lessa_Grace Creators Thoughts. 4 comments 0 vote. 5. Shatter it. Kyoka Suigetsu. You can read 14 plus chapters ahead of everyone on Patreon. Patreon, Patreon. Less a servant of Cosmos. Just replace the at with a dash 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 dash. At this moment, on the training ground of Konoha, Uchiha Shino could be seen sprinting rapidly, swiftly throwing several kunai towards Sosuke with a wave of his hands. His figure closely followed behind. Facing the incoming kunai, Sosuke remained calm and composed. With a slight dodge, he managed to avoid the kunai. Suddenly, from the perspective, Uchiha Shino appeared out of nowhere and swiftly kicked towards Sosuke with great force. Also Sosuke blocked with both hands, he was still kicked far away, raising countless dust from the ground. That really hurts. Sosuke felt his right arm slightly numb and couldn't help but mutter softly. At this moment, Uchiha Shino's voice came again. A commoner like you, do you think you can catch up to people like us with just a few years of effort? People like you will always be trailing behind, and distance will make you realize the gap between us. As soon as he finished speaking, Uchiha Shino suddenly accelerated and appeared in front of Sosuke. Both fists struck, and the shadows of punches swung extremely fast. Sosuke could only struggle to defend himself. Under such a fierce and intense attack, Sosuke found it difficult to hold on. Is there really such a gap? No matter how hard I try, this innate gap seems to make it difficult for my right arm to continue. Boom. Suddenly, Uchiha Shino kicked Sosuke to the side with a powerful kick. At this point, many students in other areas had already determined their victories or defeats, and Tsunade and others had also gathered here, watching the battle. Sosuke. Seeing Sosuke being knocked down, Tsunade couldn't help but exclaim and even wanted to intervene in the fight. However, Jiraiya and Orochimaru beside her quickly stopped her. This is Sosuke's battle, Tsunade. Orochimaru looked at Tsunade and spoke with a heavy tone. On the field, seeing Tsunade's concern for Sosuke, Uchiha Shino became even angrier. He stared intensely at Sosuke, revealing a cold smile. I don't know why someone like you has gained the favor of Princess Tsunade, but I will teach you an unforgettable lesson. Perhaps, not becoming a ninja would be a good choice for you. As soon as he finished speaking, he charged towards Sosuke again. As he descended rapidly from midair, preparing to smash down with a fierce kick towards Sosuke. Suddenly, Sosuke rose from the ground, and beneath his glasses, his gaze remained calm. A flash of the blade. A very swift draw of the sword. However, it struck a wooden stake. Substitution jutsu. Sosuke looked solemnly at the shattered wooden stake. At his back, Uchiha Shino delivered a spinning kick towards him. So, you finally drew your sword. Kid, do you really think I would be defeated by such a frivolous act? Sosuke quickly blocked the powerful kick with the blade. His body flew backward once again. A trickle of blood flowed from the corner of Sosuke's mouth. In such an intense physical clash, his internal organs also suffered considerable damage. No. The gap is too apparent. Whether it's strength, reflexes, or even physical abilities, I can't compare to him. Could it be that all my efforts in these years really can't measure up to these geniuses? Sosuke thought to himself. He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and looked at Uchiha Shino, only to be surprised to find that his eyes were now blood red, with a single jade orb slowly rotating within them. Is this the Uchiha clan's Sharingan? What kind of ability do those eyes possess? Below the arena, the young boys and girls were all amazed. That guy Shino. He actually activated the Sharingan. So, that's the Uchiha clan's Sharingan. The first time I've seen such a bloodline limit. It is said that Lord Madara also possessed eyes like that. I didn't expect Shino to also have the Sharingan. Even Suzuki-sensei, who was watching from the sidelines, was shocked as he looked at Uchiha Shino. In his mind, he thought, what a terrifying young man. He must be another genius from the Uchiha clan. Such a clan. Tsunade looked at Sosuke on the field with concern. Beside her, Orochimaru looked at Uchiha Shino's red eyes, and his snake-like pupils slightly contracted. He whispered, "Now, what are you going to do, Sosuke?" On the field, Uchiha Shino coldly stared at Sosuke but said, "Even a genius will be defeated in front of these eyes. People like you, commoners, have always been in a different world from us. This time, let me show you the consequences of trying to approach Princess Tsunade." After finishing his words, he suddenly moved. Sosuke's pupils contracted in shock as he saw Uchiha Shino suddenly appearing in front of him. So fast. He immediately swung his katana towards him. However, it cut through the air. A whisper came from behind Sosuke. "Under these eyes, your slow movements don't even qualify to touch me." Leaf whirlwind. Boom. Sosuke's entire back was struck by a powerful kick, sending him flying forward, his heavy glasses slipping off. Feeling the intense pain and the damage to his muscles, Sosuke closed his eyes and thought sadly, "Am I going to fall here? I'm sorry, Tsunade. I still couldn't catch up to you." Uchiha Shino taunted him, saying, "I haven't seen you in such a sorry state in a long time, Aizen. When did you become so sloppy with your swordsmanship?" As Sosuke lay on the ground, he heard the voice and struggled to open his eyes. In his field of vision, instead of the usual blur after losing his glasses, everything was clear. A beautiful girl in a floral kimono was crouching beside him, looking at him with a smirk on her beautiful face. "It's you, Kyoka Suigetsu. I'm sorry you had to see me in such a sorry state," Sosuke said laboriously, still forcing a smile. Upon hearing Sosuke's words and seeing his battered smile, the girl seemed visibly startled, gazing deeply at him. Slowly, she prostrated herself on the ground, ignoring her kimono getting dirtied by the soil, and gently leaned on Sosuke's body, sniffing his scent. Unsettled by this sudden act, Sosuke heard her soft whisper. "You should remember, Aizen. My release phrase, it's our power. Hold on to me. Feel my presence carefully. Only I will always be with you." The beautiful girl slowly disappeared into Sosuke's body. And there, lying upside down, Sosuke felt like he had just had a dream. In that dream, he could raise his blade and sever the entire world, making countless terrifying creatures submit to him. His hand grasped the fallen sword beside him, as if holding the hand of the girl. Yes, in his dream, that's what he said. "Shatter. Kyoka Suigetsu. Like it. Add to library. Have some idea about my story? Comment it and let me know." Lessa_Grace Creators Thoughts. 6 comments 0 vote. 6. Complete hypnosis. You can read 14 plus chapters ahead of everyone on Patreon. Patreon, Patreon.com, Lessa Servant of Cosmos. Just replace the at with a. dash 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 dash. On the field, Uchiha Shino stared with his blood-red Sharingan and looked at Sosuke trembling as he stood up, disdainfully saying, "Under these eyes, your movements are as slow as a turtle. Even if you pick up that sword, what can you do? Today, I will make you understand the difference between commoners like you and us." Sosuke, standing on the opposite side, tremblingly got up, his unkempt hair covering his eyes, and his body covered in dust. But a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. "So, this is the true usage of this sword. Thank you, Kyoka Suigetsu." He held the sword's blade vertically in front of him. He softly whispered a phrase. "Shatter, Kyoka Suigetsu." Suddenly, the sharp green-handled katana shattered like a broken mirror into countless pieces. An invisible energy lightly brushed against everyone who saw it, like a gentle breeze. Off the field, a group of young boys were astonished by Sosuke's actions, and discussions immediately broke out. What is he doing? Did he intend to surrender by destroying his sword? Sosuke doesn't seem like the kind of person who would surrender. Maybe he has another intention. Yeah, Sosuke doesn't give up easily. I hope he can defeat that arrogant guy from the Uchiha clan who dared to talk about commoners' worth. Tsunade and the others watched Sosuke with concern, puzzled by his actions. Only Orochimaru, with his snake-like pupils, pondered, why did the sword break? It's becoming more and more interesting, Sosuke. On the field, Uchiha Shino widened his Sharingan eyes as he looked at Sosuke, who was scattered on the ground, with broken pieces of the sword. Suddenly, he laughed, holding his stomach. Pointing at Sosuke, his tone was filled with extreme contempt. Are you making such a commotion to surrender? Or do you think that destroying your sword will defeat me? As he spoke, his face became furious, and he suddenly leapt forward. This guy, using such means to delay time and mock me, I will definitely quickly deal with you. In front of Princess Tsunade, I will make her see that commoners like you will never be qualified to stand with us. Facing a rapidly approaching Uchiha Shino, Sosuke remained standing in his original spot, still holding the green handle of the shattered sword. A smile suddenly appeared at the corner of his mouth, while his eyes under the disheveled hair showed a joyful expression. So, this is it. Complete hypnosis. Once the opponent sees the moment when Kyoka Suigetsu is released, their five senses can be completely hypnotized. What a terrifying ability. Sosuke slowly raised his head, looking at Uchiha Shino rushing towards him, through the hair hanging over his forehead. With a light step, he moved to a position just a step away from where he was before. Like this, he stood in his original spot, wearing a gentle smile as he watched everything unfold. Uchiha Shino seemed as if he didn't see his figure at all. He leapt into the air. A senpu. The heavy and powerful kick descended from above, smashing towards Sosuke's position. Bang! The ground was dented by this kick, leaving a shallow but noticeable crater. However, Uchiha Shino, who caused all of this, was filled with shock in his heart. Empty. How is it possible? That guy's speed. How could he possibly dodge my Sharingan? How could he not capture any traces? Could it be that guy used the body flicker technique? But he couldn't think about anything further. The dust that scattered from the ground had no effect on Sosuke, who still wore a smile on his face. He was just one step away from Uchiha Shino. Close enough to throw a punch. With a slight disdainful smile on his face, Sosuke swung his fist towards Uchiha Shino's face. He heard a sound behind him. Uchiha Shino quickly turned around, and under his Sharingan, every movement of Sosuke was clear. His body didn't react at all, and he could only watch helplessly as Sosuke's fist grew larger. The full force blow heavily struck Uchiha Shino's face. His whole body was sent flying to the side as if hit by a truck. In the air, his face was almost distorted, and even a tooth fell out. Blood sprayed from his mouth. Before darkness enveloped him, he deeply remembered Sosuke's disdainful smile and his large fist like a sand pot. Bang! Like a discarded trash, Shino's body rolled a few times on the ground and fell to the side. Unconscious. The winner, Sosuke. Sensei, who was standing nearby, suddenly appeared beside Uchiha Shino. He let out a sigh of relief when he realized that Uchiha Shino was only unconscious. He turned his head and looked at the straight-standing young man in the center of the field, revealing a complex expression. To be able to defeat the genius of the Uchiha clan, this young man possessed such terrifying talent and strength at such a young age. He's truly extraordinary. How did he manage to evade Uchiha Shino's attacks at the critical moment? Unfortunately, no one could answer the questions in Suzuki-sensei's mind. On the sidelines, the group of boys and girls were all delighted by Sosuke's victory. I knew it. Sosuke definitely had what it takes to win. I've been annoyed by that arrogant guy from the Uchiha clan for a long time. Sosuke is truly excellent. I wish I could be like him. You better keep quiet. I once saw Sosuke practicing martial arts alone in the Konoha forest, his hands covered in blood. And you were probably still sleeping at home. At this moment, Tsunade and the others also approached Sosuke. Tsunade looked at him with joy. Congratulations, Sosuke. On the other hand, Jiraiya rubbed his head and shamelessly said, it's a shame I had my thunder stolen by you this time. But Sosuke, your strength is truly terrifying. To be able to defeat the Uchiha guy who activated the Sharingan, it seems like you can also become my opponent and join my legendary 500 battles. As soon as he finished speaking, Tsunade punched him on the head with a black line on her face. Jiraiya, you always say strange things. Sosuke, don't mind him. Tsunade apologized to Sosuke. Naturally, Sosuke responded with a smile. He looked at Tsunade and the others, happily speaking. I'm sorry to have worried you all, but after this battle, I think I finally have the strength to fight alongside all of you. Let's go. Today, it's my treat at Ichiraku Ramen. Let's have a good meal together. Count me in. It's rare to have a chance to eat with you, so I'll definitely enjoy it. Jiraiya, can you not embarrass yourself like that? Sosuke, don't mind him. The four of them walked along the road. Sosuke felt the gaze of Orochimaru. Unable to hold back his curiosity, he turned his head. What's the matter, Orochimaru? Looking at Sosuke, Orochimaru's snake-like eyes were filled with interest, but he didn't say anything more. Nothing, I just find you, Sosuke, very interesting. Having said that, Orochimaru continued walking forward. Without his glasses, Sosuke's messy hair slightly covered his eyes, revealing a handsome and charming face, exuding a unique charm. This made Tsunade, who occasionally glanced at him, feel her heart beat faster. And so, the group walked on the streets of Konoha. What will the future hold? Like it. Add to library. Have some idea about my story? Comment it and let me know. Lessa_Grace Creators Thoughts. 6 comments 0 vote. 7. Standing on top of the world. You can read 14 plus chapters ahead of everyone on Patreon. Patreon, Patreon. Lessa servant of Cosmos. Just replace the at with a. Dash 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 dash. Late at night, Sosuke returned to his small house. At this moment, he had put on a new pair of thick black framed glasses, hiding the sharpness in his eyes, and once again becoming the reserved and taciturn young man. Standing inside the house, Sosuke carefully examined the emerald green katana in his hand, his eyes shimmering with excitement. Kyoka Suigetsu. Such a terrifying blade. It can grant me this kind of power. Sosuke carefully recalled his performance on the field today, earnestly searching for his shortcomings and contemplating his battle with Uchiha Shino. He discovered that if he hadn't unleashed Kyoka Suigetsu at the critical moment, he would have never been able to defeat Uchiha Shino. That Uchiha guy's strength is probably close to that of a Chunin. A genius raised in such a family. They are definitely stronger than ordinary people like me, crushing me in terms of physical ability and strength. However, from today onwards, with the existence of Kyoka Suigetsu, I won't fall behind them anymore. Sosuke thought to himself. Just then, a clear and enchanting voice echoed in the room. Sosuke, do you still like my power? On the side of the room, Kyoka Suigetsu appeared out of nowhere. She was now wearing a red and black speckled kimono, looking somewhat enchanting as she gazed at Sosuke, her eyes shining with a peculiar light. Sosuke was surprised to hear Kyoka Suigetsu's voice. He had always assumed that she had lost her power like Hogyoku. Seeing the beautiful and captivating Kyoka Suigetsu, Sosuke couldn't help but blush again. Thanks to his glasses concealing his face, he managed to pretend to be calm and said, "It's you, Kyoka Suigetsu. I really like this kind of power, thank you." Sosuke lowered his head, looking at the emerald-colored blade, his eyes revealing a desire for power, unable to help himself. Seeing Sosuke's expression, Kyoka Suigetsu's enchanting smile grew even stronger. She suddenly disappeared from her original position and reappeared behind Sosuke. Her body pressed tightly against Sosuke, and the slightly bewitching figure under her kimono leaned forward lightly. Her reddened lips gently whispered near Sosuke's ear. "Don't be polite. As long as you like it, you can freely use it." The close contact made Sosuke unable to maintain his composure any longer. After all, he was just a boy of 8 or 9 years old. Sosuke quickly took a step forward, creating some distance between them, his face flushed as he asked. "By the way, Kyoka Suigetsu, why is this blade named after you? You haven't answered my question from before. Who are you exactly?" Not paying attention to Sosuke's slight resistance, Kyoka Suigetsu maintained her captivating posture, still smiling as she looked at Sosuke's youthful face. Her eyes seemed somewhat blurred. This Aizen-sama seems even more alluring. I wonder if, when Aizen-sama wakes up, he will mind my disrespect towards him now. It's becoming more and more interesting. Because I am the blade in your hands, Sosuke. Every time you gently stroke me, I can feel it as well. Kyoka Suigetsu, like the combination of a young girl's tender face and a seductive heart, squinted her eyes as she looked at Sosuke. Her irresistibly tempting red lips gently parted as she spoke, surprising Sosuke. "What? You are this blade?" Sosuke couldn't help but be shocked to hear her words. A blade that can transform into a human. It was unheard of in his understanding, which left him astonished. Because this completely transcends conventional understanding. Just like a lazy cat playing with a wool ball, Kyoka Suigetsu looked at Sosuke with narrowed, smiling eyes. "Well, to be precise, it is the power within you, Sosuke. Including this blade, it is the release of your inner power that brought forth my existence. So, Sosuke, I know all of your thoughts. This further surprised Sosuke, and he felt a sense of embarrassment at having his privacy invaded. He looked at Kyoka Suigetsu with a somewhat cold expression. On the other side, Kyoka Suigetsu raised her sleeve and lightly covered her smile, her gaze clear. Truly. Even though you lost all your memories, your inherent pride hasn't diminished in the slightest. You still don't want anyone to see your heart, do you? Lord Aizen. Sosuke, do you want to stand at the pinnacle of this world? Kyoka Suigetsu looked at Sosuke, her face still adorned with that bewitching smile. Without dwelling on whether Kyoka Suigetsu's words were true or false, upon hearing her question, Sosuke had some doubts. The pinnacle? Are you referring to becoming a shinobi? A shinobi? Ha ha ha. Perhaps. So, Sosuke, do you want to stand at that height? Kyoka Suigetsu seemed to find Sosuke's words amusing, but she continued to ask with a smile. Sosuke pondered over this question for a long time. If he had the strength of someone like Lord Hokage, his village wouldn't have been devastated by war. If he had the power of someone like Lord Hokage, he could protect those dear to him. If he had the power of someone like Lord Hokage, he could punish those who recklessly took the lives of others. Yes. If he could stand at the pinnacle of the world and possess the power of a Hokage, everything would be different. With this in mind, Sosuke's eyes lit up. In this moment, whether it was the village destroyed by war, the golden ponytail figure, or the words of Uchiha Shino about geniuses and commoners, Sosuke felt a deep desire. He could try to stand at the pinnacle of this world and change everything he didn't want to see. I want to stand at the pinnacle of this world, Sosuke said softly, his gaze beneath the black-framed glasses incredibly resolute. It had nothing to do with Kyoka Suigetsu. It was because he had finally found his inner desires. He wanted to stand at the pinnacle of this world. He wanted to change everything he didn't want to see. He was destined to stand at the pinnacle of this world. Perhaps sensing Sosuke's emotions, Kyoka Suigetsu, silently watching him, raised a captivating smile on her enchanting face. Lord Aizen, regardless of where you are, mediocrity has never been a word associated with you. This time, let Suigetsu be your most loyal aide, guiding you towards the throne of the heavens. The reason we find flowers on a precipice beautiful is because we stop at the precipice. Unlike those fearless flowers that can take a step into the sky. Sosuke Aizen. Like it. Add to library. Have some idea about my story? Comment it and let me know. Lessa_Grace Creators Thoughts. 7 comments 0 vote. 8. Keto. You can read 14 plus chapters ahead of everyone on Patreon. Patreon, Patreon. Lessa servant of Cosmos. Just replace the at with a dash 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 dash. After a night of rest. The next morning, Sosuke woke up early. After a quick wash and finishing breakfast, Sosuke organized his clothes and prepared to head to the Konoha forest. It was the place where he had secretly trained and practiced all this time. Gripping tightly onto the emerald green Kyoka Suigetsu, he slanted it at his waist, and a look of excitement appeared on Sosuke's face. Yesterday, Kyoka Suigetsu told him that she would teach him some special ninjutsu today. These unique ninjutsu might help him advance further on his path. Sosuke couldn't help but feel excited. As an orphan who had lost his village, he didn't have many opportunities to learn ninjutsu. You see, even in the ninja academy, he and his classmates, who were about to graduate as low-ranking ninja, didn't have much chance to learn those amazingly powerful ninjutsu. From what Sosuke understood, The rise of ninja accompanied the decline of the samurai era, and ninjutsu. It was the crucial ability that distinguished ninjas from samurai and even surpassed them. Ninjutsu, as the name implies, is the use of chakra extracted from the body or the direct physical effects achieved by the user. Every ninja village has its own unique style of ninjutsu, and it is the utmost importance in the village. In Konoha, without a doubt, it is the fire release ninjutsu. As for their group of students who have yet to graduate from the Ninja Academy, they only learned the most basic transformation technique in AC rank ninjutsu like fire release, great fireball technique. There was more focus on throwing ninja tools and physical combat. As for those A rank or even S rank ninjutsu, only ninjas who have made significant contributions to the village or have completed a sufficient number of missions can learn them. Of course, there are some exceptions, such as family secret techniques. Just like the famous Hyuga clan and Uchiha clan in Konoha, their clan members can have earlier access to powerful family ninjutsu, making Sosuke somewhat disdainful of the village's ninjutsu that he desires but cannot obtain. With an excited heart, Sosuke arrived in the middle of the Konoha forest. There stood a giant tree trunk with numerous scars, its bark completely peeled off, and the sturdy trunk covered in mottled wounds and bloodstains. These were the traces of Sosuke's past training efforts. Sosuke supported his glasses on the bridge of his nose, looking at these marks of history, at his previous blood and sweat, and he couldn't help but be slightly fascinated. Just then. No one's success can be achieved overnight. The so-called strong ones are merely the accumulation of time, but in front of you, their strength will ultimately become a force that serves you. Suigetsu appeared by his side, seemingly out of nowhere. She was leaning lightly against a tree, her gaze fixed on Sosuke, and her lips lightly parted as she spoke in a seductive tone. Sosuke just glanced at her from the corner of his eye and didn't respond to her words. Under the black frames of his glasses, his gaze slightly narrowed. Boom! A silver-white flash of a blade. The tree that once recorded Sosuke's past came crashing down, stirring up a cloud of dust. Slowly, he sheathed the sword back at his waist. The lenses of his glasses shimmered with a white light, making it impossible to see what he was contemplating. Let's begin, Kyoka Suigetsu. I'm very interested in the Kido you mentioned. Sosuke said softly, still as refined as ever. Without being surprised by Sosuke's sudden action, as if nothing had happened, Kyoka Suigetsu walked slowly towards him, her beautiful kimono and flower hairpin shining under the dappled sunlight, displaying an unusual beauty. With her delicate face, she looked at Sosuke's smiling face and gently spoke. As you wish. Sosuke. However, the smile at the corner of his mouth seemed even more intense. In the Hokage's office. For some reason, the summoned teacher, Suzuki-sensei, was now giving a detailed report on yesterday's physical training test at the Ninja Academy. In the office, apart from Hokage Hiruzen Sarutobi, there were 3 other important figures from the village. Mito Izuka, Kocho Shirabe, and a one-eyed man with a cross-shaped scar on his chin, Danzo Shimura. After Suzuki-sensei finished his report, the Hokage asked him to leave. Inside the room, the third Hokage had his crossed hands resting on the desk, staring intently at the other 3 individuals, and spoke up. What do you think of these 3 children? Upon hearing the third Hokage's question, Mito Izuka and Kocho Shirabe nodded. After thinking for a while, Mito Izuka looked at the third Hokage and spoke. Hazashi, Guro, and Orochimaru are all excellent children, both in talent and personality. We have no objections to you taking them as disciples. However, as for this Jiraiya. After hesitating for a moment, Mito Izuka clenched his teeth and continued. I believe this child lacks stability in character. On the other hand, Sosuke seems like a good choice. Why not consider him? Upon hearing his words, the third Hokage lightly furrowed his brow and looked at the profiles of the children on the table, lost in thought. After a while, he raised his head, his gaze firm as he looked at Mito Izuka and the others. The child named Jiraiya, I have had contact with him before. Although he has a very carefree nature, there is no doubt that he possesses excellent determination in the will of fire. I can see the love for the village in his eyes, and I also believe that he will become an outstanding ninja in the future. After finishing his words, he lightly tapped his finger on the desk, seemingly recalling something with his gaze. As for the child Sosuke, although he is outstanding, I still insist on choosing Jiraiya. In the end, he didn't mention that when he arrived at that house, the Sand Village's ninja had already been massacred, powerless to resist, and only a child a few years old remained in a pool of blood. That child was Sosuke. Over the years, he had often observed that child but had not found any abnormalities. He could see the child's love for the village, but Hiruzen Sarutobi still had concerns about him, ultimately not choosing him as a disciple. With his decision made, Mito Hazuka and Kocho Shirabe no longer objected, allowing Hiruzen Sarutobi to select Tsunade, Orochimaru, and Jiraiya as disciples. Just then, Danzo Shimura, who had been silently sitting there with his eyes closed, suddenly spoke up. His opened one eye flickered with a gleam of light. That child, Sosuke, I want to take him as my disciple. Upon hearing this statement, it immediately surprised the other three. Mito Hazuka looked at him seriously and said, Danzo, do you know what you're saying? You should know that the establishment of Root has already made many people in the village dissatisfied. If you now take a civilian child as a disciple, do you think those guys will let you get away with it? Kocho Shirabe also advised from the side. Yes, Danzo, the people in the village won't agree with Root being entrusted to civilians. Are you sure you want to take him as your disciple? Danzo Shimura was not influenced by these words. He calmly persisted in his choice. The third Hokage also looked at him sternly. Finally, he sighed. Danzo, treat that child well. In the dark depths of Konoha, the newly established organization, Root, was still being perfected. Danzo Shimura walked through the dark corridor. The sound of his wooden sandals echoed incessantly. He whispered softly. Sosuke. Hiruzen. Let's see which one of our disciples is stronger. Like it. Add to library. Your gift is the motivation for my creation. Give me more motivation. Lessa_Grace Creators Thoughts. 6 comments 0 vote. 9. Practice. You can read 14 plus chapters ahead of everyone on Patreon. Patreon, Patreon.com, Lessa Servant of Cosmos. Just replace the at with a dash 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 dash. In the Konoha forest, sunlight filters through the cracks in the leaves, casting speckled patterns on the ground. A figure stands there, a small body standing straight with both hands raised forward. It is Sosuke, who practices Kido. His eyes are fixed on a large rock ahead, and he murmurs softly. One of the Bakudo. Ho. As soon as he finishes speaking, an invisible energy wave shoots forward from his hands, swiftly rushing ahead. Boom. The enormous rock shatters under the impact of the energy wave, as if struck by a powerful blow. But it's not over yet. Looking at the scattered rock fragments flying in all directions, Sosuke, with a calm and focused gaze behind his glasses, suddenly changes the position of his raised hands. 11th Bakudo. Suiryuden. Suddenly, his palms release scattered electric sparks. Like tiny lightning serpents, the electric sparks swiftly shoot towards the scattered rock fragments as if guided by an invisible force. Boom. Boom. The sound of shattered rock fragments resonates continuously. The previously flying rock fragments in all directions are now reduced to dust, scattered by the wind. Completing the release of these two Kido techniques, Sosuke is now sweating profusely. He gazes at his masterpiece, excitement gleaming in his eyes. Such incredible power. These past few days of hard work haven't been in vain. Indeed, as Chakra and Mizuki mentioned, spiritual energy can also manipulate these Kido techniques. Behind him, Kyoka Suigetsu are watching Sosuke's demonstration of the two Bakudo techniques with great interest. Kyoka Suigetsu's delicate face carries a strong smile. Indeed, you are worthy, Lord Sosuke. Even though you have lost all your memories, within these few days, you have learned and mastered Kido with such proficiency. Your skillful manipulation of the world's power surpasses those mediocre beings in the Soul Society. You truly possess the qualities of a true king. After witnessing the destructive power caused by the two released Kido techniques, Sosuke can't help but feel relieved. Although he hasn't seen more advanced ninja techniques, there's no doubt that the power of just these two low-level Bakudo can be considered B-rank ninja techniques. And to think there are even higher-level Kido techniques, up to 99 layers. Sosuke can't help but feel excited. It's an immense power surpassing S-rank ninja techniques. If he can master it, he'll be even closer to his goal. Unfortunately, he is still too young. Despite tirelessly refining chakra since he started practicing ninja techniques, his chakra reserves are only enough to release a few low-level Kido. He doesn't mind, though. Sosuke adjusts his glasses with satisfaction, a hint of joy shining in his eyes. He is already very content with his current situation. Moreover, only by solidly taking each step forward can he truly strive for the top. At this moment, Kyoka Suigetsu approaches Sosuke with a smile on her exquisite face, her enchanting figure adorned in a beautiful kimono exuding a peculiar beauty. Lord Aizen, you truly deserve praise. To fully master these two Kido techniques at such a rapid pace, one could say it's a testament to Lord Aizen's abilities. Hearing her words, Sosuke furrows his brow and looks at the beautiful and alluring Kyoka Suigetsu. He speaks earnestly. Kyoka Suigetsu, although I'm not sure what kind of relationship I have with Sosuke, as you mentioned, you must understand that I am me. You need to make that distinction. After speaking, Sosuke ignores Kyoka Suigetsu behind him and turns around, walking towards the depths of the forest. The dappled sunlight shines on him, and his white robe gently sways, revealing the youthful vigor of a young boy. Come on, let me see what kind of technique this Zanpakudo's ghostly way of the slashing fist is. I'm becoming more and more interested in what you're hiding. The warm voice of Kyoka Suigetsu reaches Mirror Flower, Water Moon's ears. She stares blankly at Aizen's figure, and her eyes gradually brighten with an unknown emotion, becoming more and more fascinated. Yes, Lord Aizen, no. It should be Sosuke. Perhaps you will never seek what you once failed to find. As powerful as you are, you always measure your own worth by success. By following and assisting you, I can subvert all my past failures. That is the meaning of my existence, Sosuke. The two of them arrive deep in the Konoha forest. Kyoka Suigetsu briefly explains the way of the slashing fist and Hakuda to Sosuke. Sosuke furrows his brow and softly speaks. Taijutsu. What use can such physical attacks have in the face of such powerful Kido abilities? Hearing his words, Kyoka Suigetsu on the other side of the conversation raises a faint smile on her delicate face, covering her mouth with a hand, and looks at Sosuke with a playful expression. Is Kido also considered a powerful ability? Sosuke, haven't you realized that I am your greatest power? Hearing Kyoka Suigetsu's words, Sosuke is taken aback. After all, as a boy of 8 or 9 years old, he doesn't have enough information to analyze and judge many questions about power. Just like a young boy, even if you give him a nuclear bomb, he can't imagine the devastating power it can unleash. In Sosuke's eyes at this moment, the so-called powerful ability refers to destructive power on a large scale, like ninjutsu or Kido. However, he hasn't realized the true extent of abilities like Mirror Flower, Water Moon's Shikai, complete hypnosis. Mirror Mirror flower, Water Moon smiles at Sosuke, her exquisite and beautiful face flawless. But the words she speaks now send a chilling feeling. Sosuke, how much effort do you think it takes to kill someone and erase their existence? Upon hearing her words, Sosuke furrows his brow slightly. After all, at this moment, Sosuke is still sensitive to and reluctant about taking someone's life. But he carefully ponders on it and connects it to Mirror Flower, Water Moon's abilities, causing his mind to pause. Complete hypnosis. Complete hypnosis. Complete hypnosis. Those 4 words play on repeat in his mind. Yes, with Mirror Flower, Water Moon, all Sosuke has to do is approach someone and lightly brush them with a knife to kill them effortlessly, without expending any energy. Thinking about this, he looks deeply at Mirror Flower, Water Moon. She smiles brightly, her beauty captivating, standing there quietly, like an angel dancing in hell. Light and shadows entered in on her, revealing the black and white of right and wrong, cause and effect. She continues to smile at him, and if the throne is what he desires, she will accompany him always, even if it means sacrificing everything to help him ascend the divine seat. Lord Sosuke. So, that's how it is. Kyoka Suigetsu, I'm really curious now. Are you my power or someone else's power? Looking at her, Sosuke says softly, his tone calm. Mirror Flower, Water Moon, who has put away her smile, slowly walks up to Sosuke and kneels before him. Just like a sacred angel soiled by the dirt of the mortal world. Her clean kimono now touches the dusty ground, but she pays it no mind. She only bows down gently and says softly, I will never betray your existence. Whether it's the past or the future, my power will always belong to you, Sosuke. Hearing her words, a faint smile appears on the corner of Sosuke's mouth framed by his glasses. Well then. I accept your power. Mirror Flower, Water Moon. Like it. Add to library. Your gift is the motivation for my creation. Give me more motivation. Lessa_Grace Creator's thoughts. 8 comments 0 vote. 10. Scary boy. Might die. You can read 14+ chapters ahead of everyone on Patreon. Patreon, Patreon. Lessa servant of Cosmos. Just replace the at with a dash 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 dash. The time of cultivation passes like a fleeting white horse. In just a few days, Sosuke learned a lot about Kido from Kyoka Suigetsu. He is still training vigorously in the forest. The training ground is full of uneven terrain, with wood chips and rubble scattered everywhere. Sosuke stands facing a several high boulder, his eyes closed, expressionless. He lightly touches Kyoka Suigetsu with his hand. When a gentle breeze blows, a green leaf dances in the wind, drifting past him. I feel it. Suddenly, Sosuke opens his eyes. A glimmer flashes in his eyes. The hands that were gently caressing the blade are now swirling like a wild wind. With a slight sound, Sosuke stops his movement, sheathes his sword, and slowly catches his breath as he looks at the massive rock in front of him. In an instant, the huge boulder cracks into several pieces and slowly slides to the ground. Boom. It kicks up a cloud of dust on the ground. If you look closely, you'll notice that each rock has a smooth blade mark, shining like a mirror. Next to the smooth stones, 12 green leaves lie quietly on the ground. In that moment when the green leaves floated by, Sosuke swung his sword 6 times. This is his understanding of Zanpakuto these past few days. Sosuke gently touches Kyoka Suigetsu, as if it were an extension of his own body. His training in swordsmanship has progressed at an extraordinary speed, surpassing that of an ordinary person. As for Kido training, due to the issue of chakra consumption, he can only release a level Hado number 31. Shakuho. There is no way to solve the problem of low chakra reserves at the moment, so he can only extract it through daily practice. As for Bakudo, during this time, Sosuke has mostly mastered unarmed combat and Zanpakudo techniques. Unfortunately, there are no suitable opponents for him to hone his skills in unarmed combat. Sosuke can't help but feel regretful. Lastly, what troubles Sosuke is Shunpo, the flash step. He is eager to acquire this high-speed movement technique, but after attempting it, Sosuke realizes that he currently cannot master this practical and effective ability. The requirements for physical fitness are too high for this high-speed movement technique. If he forcefully uses it with his current 8-year-old body, it will put a severe burden on him. Therefore, in these few days, Sosuke has decided to enhance his physical fitness. After a day of training, Sosuke feels somewhat tired. As he is about to leave with his exhausted body, a voice in the distance catches his attention. The training ground he chose is located in a remote corner of the Konoha forest, where no one usually comes. Hearing the voices of others at this moment piques his curiosity. Curious, Sosuke walks towards the source of the sound, wanting to see who would appear in this place. 397. 398. If you can't reach 500 frog jumps, then punch the training post 1000 times. Keep moving forward. Youth does not allow failure. Hearing those strange slogans, Sosuke is greeted with an unexpected sight. He sees a young boy wearing a green bodysuit, currently carrying a massive, thick log and continuously frog jumping in his direction. The log weighs at least 100 kilograms. The boy with thick eyebrows and a watermelon rind hairstyle has a red face, his body drenched in sweat, continuously dripping off him. Sosuke is shocked as he looks at him. This guy. Is he fearless or what? The boy, who is still frog jumping, also notices Sosuke standing ahead of him. Only to see him struggle to lift his head and look at Sosuke. Then he grins, revealing a set of white teeth, and struggles to throw the giant log to the side. He brushes off the dust from his body, grinning widely, and looks at Sosuke. Hello, Sosuke. Nice to meet you. I'm Might Die from the neighboring class. Sosuke, hiding his surprise behind his glasses, lightly touches his frames and smiles politely at Might Die. Hello, Might Die. I've heard of your name before, and I'm glad to meet you today. Might Die. Is he the guy from the neighboring class who's considered weird? So it's him. Thinking this, Sosuke glances at the giant log on the side and is slightly amazed by the physical strength of the guy in front of him. On hearing Sosuke's words, Might Die's eyes light up. To be able to have such a close encounter with the genius student who has various rumors among their ninja class. And to hear him acknowledge his existence. It makes him extremely excited. He deeply bows to Sosuke. Then he suddenly raises his head, tears welling up in his eyes, and says with excitement, "It's truly an honor. To think that you, Sosuke, know my name. It gives me a new understanding of the meaning of youth. Thank you, Sosuke. Youth should be as excellent as you." Upon hearing Might Die's words, Sosuke maintains a polite smile on his face. Although he finds Might Die's behavior somewhat strange, there is no doubt that he is a very capable ninja. Thank you for your praise, Might Die. May I dare to ask, are you practicing taijutsu? Sosuke remains courteous and polite, giving Might Die a level of respect he seemingly has never experienced before. Upon hearing Sosuke's words, Might Die nervously answers, his face slightly red, "Yes, Sosuke, I am. I am practicing taijutsu because that's all I know. Taijutsu practice." He can only practice taijutsu. For Might Die, taijutsu is everything to him. As a ninja school student who only knows taijutsu, he is mocked and ostracized by his classmates. But so what? He simply cannot perform the dazzling ninjutsu that other ninjas can, not even the most basic Bunshin no jutsu. Only by practicing taijutsu can he preserve the title of being a ninja. Only by exerting 100-fold or even 1,000-fold effort to practice the most demanding and thankless taijutsu can he catch up to others and not be left behind. At this moment, standing in front of Sosuke, one of the most outstanding students in the ninja school, Might Dai feels extremely insecure and nervous. Would the excellent Sosuke look down on him for being a fool who can only practice taijutsu? He has even prepared himself for Sosuke's change in attitude and departure after learning that he is such a fool who could only struggle with physical techniques. At this point, Might Dai was even prepared to turn and leave if Sosuke reacted negatively to him being such a fool. But who would have expected it? Physical techniques. Might Dai, you are a very outstanding ninja. Sosuke's warm and gentle voice came softly. Upon hearing Sosuke's voice, Might Dai couldn't believe it as he looked up at him. The sunlight shone on Sosuke's face, exuding a warm and comforting aura, just like an older brother from the neighborhood. An excellent ninja. An excellent ninja. Finally. Someone recognized me. Might Dai could no longer hold back the surging tears, allowing the tears of the past few years to flow uncontrollably. Thank you, Sosuke. You are the second person to acknowledge me, besides my father. Thank you. Despite the tears streaming down his face, he once again bowed deeply to Sosuke. He could see the sincerity in Sosuke's eyes, the same kind of gaze his father had when he believed in Might Dai's ability to become an outstanding ninja. Tears flowed incessantly from the eyes of this 8 or 9-year-old boy. Under the fading sunset. On the way back home, a faint smile hung on Sosuke's lips. Thinking about the encounter today, the calloused hands of that boy and the bandages wrapped around his arms, Sosuke murmured softly. Might Dai. Truly a terrifyingly hard-working guy. Like it. Add to library. Your gift is the motivation for my creation. Give me more motivation. Lessa_Grace Creators Thoughts. 5 comments 0 vote. 11. Graduate of Ninja School. You can read 15 chapters ahead of everyone on Patreon. Patreon, Patreon. Less a servant of Cosmos. Just replace the at with a. P.S. Please support me on Patreon. I really need your help. Dash 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 dash. After a whole night of rest and recuperation. The next day, early in the morning. Sosuke, as usual, woke up early and prepared a meal for himself after washing up. At this time, Kyoka Suigetsu once again appeared in her ethereal form. She didn't need to eat, so she reclined on a chair, her delicate hands supporting her head, gazing enchantingly at Sosuke bustling around. Her hazy eyes seemed infinitely satisfied. Sosuke sat upright at the dining table, eating his rice delicately, giving off an inexplicable sense of peace and tranquility with every movement. Kyoka Suigetsu sat across from him, looking at him with a satisfied smile on her face, as if it were her own cooking. This kind of life seems better than the days of constant fighting before. Kyoka Suigetsu thought to herself, her lips parting lightly. Sosuke, do you really want to become the shadow of this world? Upon hearing her words, Sosuke's eating motion paused and he stopped. I want to protect something. If I don't have strong power, my fate will always be in the hands of others, and I don't like that feeling. Becoming the shadow would probably change that. Sosuke said softly, then continued to chew and swallow slowly. Kyoka Suigetsu remained silent, and everything returned to calmness, with only the faint sound of Sosuke's chopsticks colliding. Protection. Wanting to safeguard something. Was I the person you wanted to protect, Lord Aizen? After finishing his meal, Sosuke set off for the ninja academy. Today was a significant day for the school's ninja arts test, as well as the day to assess whether they could graduate from the ninja academy. The sunlight was bright, and the warm rays bathed the village of Konoha. The bustling streets were filled with people, and birds chirped and danced on the power lines. It seemed destined to be a good day. Accompanied by this thriving atmosphere, Sosuke arrived at the ninja academy. Tsunade and others noticed him at this moment, and their brown eyes suddenly brightened as they waved to him. Sosuke. Over here. For some reason, Tsunade felt a flutter in her heart every time she saw this brown-haired, glasses-wearing boy. The time spent together was very pleasant, and she yearned for that feeling. When he walked over to her side, Tsunade's face turned rosy, and she looked at Sosuke with slightly shimmering eyes. She thought, could it be? Am I in love? Seeing Tsunade's unusual behavior, Sosuke couldn't help but worry and ask. Tsunade. Are you feeling unwell? How could that be? No, nothing at all. I'm fine, Sosuke. You don't need to worry. Upon hearing Sosuke's question, Tsunade nervously waved her hand and spoke incoherently. Hehe, Sosuke, you're overthinking. Look at Tsunade, she's like a female Tyrannosaurus. How could illness be related to her? Jiraiya laughed on the side, enjoying himself without a care in the world. But before he could finish his sentence, Tsunade punched him hard, causing his nose to bleed profusely. The commotion caused by them caught the attention of the nearby students. Is that girl the precious gem of the Senju clan? She's so powerful. Will that guy with white hair die? What a terrifying person. They start fighting at the drop of a hat. Look, isn't that the Sosuke who defeated Uchiha Shino? He looks quite ordinary in person. The voices of the crowd discussing could be heard, but they didn't affect Sosuke and the others. Everyone lined up and waited for the start of the ninja arts test. After a while, the test officially began. On open space within the ninja academy. In this examination was the same teacher, Onoki, who had taught Sosuke and the others before. He stood on the side, holding a notebook and recording the performance of each student. When it was Sosuke's turn, teacher Onoki gave him a kind smile. He had always liked this outstanding, sensible, and polite student. Sosuke had a gentle smile on his face. Suddenly, his gaze sharpened, and his hands swiftly formed seals. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Transformation Jutsu. Fire Release. Great Fireball Jutsu. Substitution Jutsu. Suddenly, another Onoki appeared beside him. The two of them simultaneously spewed a huge fireball from their mouths, attacking each other. Boom. Sosuke's fire release landed on the Onoki, causing him to disappear on the spot. And when the Onoki spewed his fire release at Sosuke, a cloud of smoke instantly rose, and a wooden stake was burning in flames. Meanwhile, Sosuke's real body slowly walked out from behind teacher Onoki. With a respectful bow, Sosuke politely concluded his test. The other young students were dazzled by Sosuke's impressive performance, feeling a sense of awe towards his strength. Even Tsunade couldn't help but look at Sosuke with a delighted expression. She never expected him to perform so excellently. Teacher Onoki looked at Sosuke in astonishment and then revealed a content smile on his face. He smiled at Sosuke and took out the forehead protector symbolizing a Konoha ninja, saying, Sosuke, congratulations. You have successfully graduated from the Ninja Academy. This is the forehead protector of Konoha. Keep it well. Sosuke respectfully accepted the forehead protector and tied it to his left arm. Teacher Onoki looked at Sosuke with contentment, like a parent looking at their own child. He knew all too well the number of talented young ninja like Sosuke that would be stifled in the terrifying ninja battlefield he had retired from. He stared intently at Sosuke and earnestly said, Sosuke, even though you're now a genin, you must continue to work hard. Only then can you survive on the battlefield when the big war comes. Do you understand? Hearing Teacher Onoki's words, Sosuke nodded thoughtfully and looked deeply into his eyes, bowing lightly. I will continue to work hard, Teacher Onoki. Receiving Sosuke's reply, Teacher Onoki was clearly pleased. The test continued. Just as Sosuke and the others were about to leave after Tsunade also passed the exam successfully, they noticed another figure on a different open space, a green figure that caught Sosuke's attention. Can we pause for a moment? Sosuke looked at that figure and gently said to Tsunade and the others. What's wrong, Sosuke? Tsunade looked at Sosuke with a puzzled expression, and then everyone followed Sosuke's gaze to that direction. Your gift is the motivation for my creation. Give me more motivation. Like it. Add to library. Lessa_Grace Creators Thoughts. 2 comments 0 vote. 12. Friend. You can read 15 chapters ahead of everyone on Patreon. Patreon, Patreon. Lessa servant of Cosmos. Just replace the at with a. P.S. Please support me on Patreon. I really need your help. Dash 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 dash. On the empty space above. A young man with thick eyebrows, wearing a green bodysuit and a bowl-cut hairstyle, was kneeling in front of the teacher in charge of the ninja art test. Amidst the mocking gazes of the other youths around him, the young man with thick eyebrows blushed but still spoke without hesitation. Please, give me another chance, Teacher Morino. The teacher named Morino wore an impatient expression on her face and waved her hand dismissively at the kneeling young man. Might die, you're not cut out to be a ninja. It's clear that you lack the fundamental skill of even performing the basic clone jutsu. Do you plan on relying solely on your physical abilities to fight enemies in the future? Just give up on your foolish dream of becoming a ninja. After Morino finished speaking, she completely disregarded Might Die, who was kneeling on the ground, and called the next candidate to continue the ninja art test. No one paid any attention to Might Die, nor did anyone sympathize with him. They all coldly watched him on the ground, their eyes filled with ridicule and mockery. That guy thinks he can get by just by excelling in physical tests. What a joke. He can't even perform ninja techniques. He should have become a porter with his strength. Kaide Flower Shop could use some extra help, haha. He can't even release a simple ninja technique. It's destiny that he's not meant to be a ninja. Why is he wasting his time here? Just leave already. Various sarcastic and mocking remarks filled the air, further dampening Might Day's spirits. At that moment, the noisy discussions abruptly ceased. All the youths turned their attention to Sosuke, who was walking towards them. Sosuke paid no mind to the gaze of others. He calmly walked towards the despondent figure kneeling on the ground. Pat, pat. As the sound of footsteps grew closer, Might Die, who had a downcast expression on his face, stirred slightly. He looked up, wanting to see who it was. Sunlight streamed through the window glass, illuminating Sosuke's face as if he were bathed in holy light. With his black-framed glasses and his gentle smile, Sosuke looked at the kneeling Might Die and softly spoke. Are you giving up on your youth so easily, Might Die? In Might Day's eyes, Sosuke appeared like an angel from heaven, pure, noble, and divine. Sosuke. Sosuke. Seeing himself in such a pathetic state before Sosuke, Might Day's face instantly turned red, feeling utterly embarrassed. Ignoring Might Day's astonishment, Sosuke maintained his warm smile and continued speaking to him. The so-called rules exist for those who cannot survive without them. Might Die, do you truly believe in the power of your physical abilities? If you believe in their strength, why do you need validation as a ninja? As Sosuke spoke, Tsunade, who was standing behind Sosuke, looked at him with a perplexed expression. Her eyes held a hint of concern. Orochimaru observed Sosuke pensively. Upon hearing Sosuke's words, Might Dai suddenly had a revelation. He felt as if his fighting spirit had been reignited, burning intensely. He stood up abruptly from the ground, and from his body. A fierce chakra burned violently, causing the air around him to move rapidly. The entire area felt like a whirlwind. With a serious and respectful expression, Might Dai looked deeply at Sosuke and bowed. Thank you, Sosuke. You saved me. Youth shouldn't be wasted like this, and I shouldn't be brought down by such a minor setback. You made me understand all of this. Thank you, Sosuke. Upon hearing Might Dai's words, Sosuke smiled deeply and his eyes twinkled. He spoke softly with a kind and gentle voice, "No need to be polite, Might Dai. We are friends." Those words almost made Might Dai unable to believe it. After a moment of confusion, an excited expression couldn't help but appear on his face. His face turned red, and he shouted loudly, I'm extremely honored to be your friend, Sosuke." The other students at the Ninja Academy started discussing and whispering among themselves. Isn't that the genius Sosuke who defeated Uchiha Shino from the neighboring class? Why is he with that ninja technique idiot? Didn't you see who was behind Sosuke? That's Princess Tsunade. How could that kid Might Dai know someone like that? He actually approached that ninja technique idiot. It seems that Sosuke's genius reputation is just a rumor, right? Tsunade frowned as she watched the students talk nonsense and gossip. She was somewhat angry for Sosuke's sake. But just as she was about to speak, a white-haired figure stepped forward ahead of her. You guys. Do you even know the full name of Lord Jiraiya-sama? As fellow graduates, if you have something to say, don't talk behind people's backs. Step up and face Lord Jiraiya-sama head-on in a proper fight. From now on, since Might Dai is Sosuke's friend, he is also Lord Jiraiya-sama's friend. If anyone speaks ill of my friend, come out and fight me. Jiraiya stood confidently in front of everyone, ignoring the furious gazes of the group of teenagers who wanted to beat him up. Both Tsunade and Sosuke were momentarily surprised by Jiraiya's actions but couldn't help but laugh. This guy. Sometimes. Unexpectedly reliable. They said. Jiraiya turned back, showing his teeth as he made a thumbs-up pose. This gesture warmed Might Dai's heart. Although he felt the urge to cry on his face, he managed to hold back the tears with great effort. But in his heart, he kept thinking. Friend. Thank you. Sosuke. And thank you. Friend named Jiraiya. After that, the group of people left. But as they were about to leave, Sosuke turned his head slightly and glanced at Morino-sensei, who stood there with an indescribable expression on her face. Her expression was blank, and her voice was cold as she spoke. Arrogantly attempting to confine everything within the understanding of ordinary people. Little did you know that even the most beautiful butterfly blossoms from its cocoon. Morino-sensei, your ignorant and fearless actions today, you have no idea how many outstanding ninja you have left behind for this village. Upon hearing Sosuke's words, everyone stopped and looked at him. Morino-sensei, after hearing those words, became furious and her face turned angry. Kid, just because you have Princess Tsunade backing you, you think you can disregard everything. Just based on him. A ninja who can't use ninjutsu. Are you kidding me? Kid, come back and talk to me after you've experienced real combat. Combat, huh? Sosuke lowered his head and murmured softly, the black-framed glasses obscuring his true thoughts. I want to challenge you, Morino-sensei. To prove how insignificant your words are before me, and to prove that a ninja doesn't necessarily need ninjutsu. Sosuke spoke again, this time with a slightly solemn expression but more of an eager look. Upon hearing Sosuke's words, the other students at the Ninja Academy were astonished. They were all speculating whether this guy had gone crazy. Even Tsunade and Might Dai tried to dissuade him. Sosuke, Morino-sensei is a Chunin-level ninja. How can you possibly defeat him? Don't act impulsively, Tsunade anxiously advised Sosuke. Jiraiya also looked at Sosuke with a heavy gaze, devoid of his usual playfulness. But he didn't try to dissuade him. Instead, he asked him. Sosuke, how confident are you? Remember, Morino-sensei is a Chunin. Upon hearing their words, Sosuke smiled and replied softly, don't worry, I know my limits. Then he turned his head toward Morino-sensei behind him, and the cold gleamed in his eyes beneath the glasses. Meanwhile, Morino-sensei, looking at Sosuke, wore a disdainful expression. Kid, it seems that defeating Uchiha wasn't enough to make you sober. Do you really think a recent graduate like you can fight me? Today, I will teach this so-called genius a lesson and show you that a genius, even before growing up, must still abide by the rules. Your gift is the motivation for my creation. Give me more motivation. Like it. Add to library.